Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bruce Wilson. If you are new here, smash the subscribe button and be sure to like the video at some point if you enjoy what you're seeing. Today we are taking my Cabover 1988 International 9670 semi-truck to my father's shop where we are going to be changing out fuel lines, air lines, tons and tons of parts on this baby to make sure it has no air leaks and no fuel leaks and no hydraulic leaks for the power steering and things of that nature. So my girlfriend Amber is going to follow me behind in her car and we are going to get this thing into freaking town. So I'm going to get it started up here in just a second so I'm going to start building air pressure. I do have to load up a lot of stuff that's in here, like the grill and a couple air hoses and things like that to take it to the shop so I can put it up back together there. All right everyone, we are pulling out the freaking driveway on our kind of maiden voyage. Got the power steering working. This thing is like freaking butter. Okay everyone, so it's awfully loud in here, but a lot of you are asking about what oil pressure it had. It's sustaining 45 psi while at cruising speed or cruising RPM, and it now has 14 volts, right at a little under 14, so it's probably like 13.8 where it's supposed to be for operating voltage for the truck. So we're doing pretty good here. Holding air pressure just fine, both tanks. Even though we do have leaks we're going to be fixing at the shop, but overall, doing pretty dang well. Don't ride too bad for a lease run truck. Oh shit. I'll get it backed in here after I drop my phone. Oh, I'm gonna get the other camera. Hang on a second. Oh, I gotta get the tripod. Here we go. Oh, and I stepped on my phone. Yo guys, so there's this new phone, phone. I'll put a link in the description below that we are going to be using. I've actually, my new phone this company sent us, and it is supposed to be the baddest phone there is. Yeah, I got some scuffs on it, but I dropped it from what, 5 foot right there, something like that. No cracks, nothing, and I stepped on it, so pretty bad thing. It's an Android based phone, 3 cameras like the new latest and greatest phones that are out there, and it has got everything we need, from radio to heart monitoring and all that cool stuff. So
everyone knows your password now.
Yeah. Uh-oh, not good. Well folks, before I decided to come up here to the shop, I put a bunch of stuff in here from the house that we're going to be polishing and putting on the truck. I need to get a new one of these, huh? New seal.
New glue. Oh no.
And I got the slack adjusters in here, a boom box, the headlight bezel, airlines. That I'm gonna crawl underneath the truck and replace these at the same time. And I did save the belt sleeves, so we know what belts to get for future reference, guys. So I know a lot of you were mentioning that to me about saving those. Here's the stay. We're gonna try to get them back in, baby.
Minty. You see that, folks?
Looks like we got some bushings bad.
Yeah, she's a little loose.
Okay, YouTube, so you see we got the truck backed up here in the parking spot in the shop here, and I've got the air lines from the frame to the axle all replaced, all brand new. I've got to tighten up these bolts. I don't know, I guess someone kind of just rigged them in there and didn't tighten them up. And so I'm going to tighten those babies down. And then I did go ahead and order new brake canisters. I got the slack adjusters all mounted up, and I kind of got a temporary pin there now just so the park and brake will work. But I did decide to go and order new brake canisters because these are just looking old, and I'd rather have all new stuff. So we have absolutely zero chances of having any issues with our brakes. This is a big, heavy, super heavy rig, and I don't want to have any problems. So new brake canisters will be here tomorrow, along with pins for the clevises on the brake canisters also. Well, everyone, we're back out here the following day after getting the truck up here to Wilson's tractor, and I've got the cab folded up. Main man, Iceman, just showed up. We're gonna be getting this tank polished up today, hopefully. He's gotta do a lot of prep work, gotta give it an acid bath, wet sand it, and a couple other things, but we're gonna get it sanded and hopefully the other side sanded today. On the other hand, I've already started pulling some fuel lines off, power steering lines we're gonna be replacing with hydraulic hoses. Like this right here is a fuel line, and this thing is freaking like hard as a freaking rock. That's a return line that goes from the tank to the fuel rail right here, which is for the return. So that's going to be replaced. We're going to be replacing the main fuel feed hose that goes to the fuel filter housing to the injection pump. Basically every hose you see right here for the power steering, all this stuff's getting replaced with brand new hoses today. And then my dad was looking at the truck for the first time, and he said he recommends that I go ahead and change the brake chamber. So we got all new brake chambers for the rear axle and the front axle. This is a park and brake chamber. You can see it's double. This is a single brake chamber, so they're fairly inexpensive, so it kind of didn't make any sense not to do it. You ready to polish the tank today or what?
Waiting on you?
Waiting on me. What you need?
I gotta get a, I didn't bring my squirt bottle.
Squirt bottle? I gotta
clean it up.
I think I got a squirt bottle in there you can use.
We definitely gonna have to take this off.
Oh, you think you can polish that? Shh.
Come on, bro. You talking to the weird kid.
When, today or next week?
I don't know.
All right, so what we gotta get so you can get started on this thing? You need a squirt bottle?
Squirt bottle.
All right, I'm gonna go find you one. So everybody, Iceman's over there about to start buffing on that tank. I've got all the power steering hoses off of it. The reservoir, it goes from the reservoir back there to the suction side of the power steering pump, and then from the power side of the power steering pump to the gearbox. Then the return line that goes all the way back to the reservoir, all that's off. And I also got the fuel line that goes from the return line to the engine, like I said earlier, and the supply line to the engine from the fuel tank. All right here, and while I was pulling the supply line from the fuel tank to the engine off, it actually freaking just broke in half. That's how brittle it is, just rusted and just broken, and actually very dangerous. So got that off. We've got the return line for the fuel, or that's the power steering line off right there. That goes from the pump to the power steering box, and that right there is the huge return line that goes from the power steering reservoir to the power steering pump. So I already made one fuel line right here, the new fuel line made out of hydraulic hose, which is the suction line. So we're gonna run that from the tanks to the engine in just a moment. And I've got the old return line for the fuel tank right there. I'm gonna go make that one right quick also. So for a lot of you that were here earlier in all the earlier videos when I was making the hoses for the cab jack, here is our hose making machine, hose cutter, and all this good stuff. So we've got all the hoses we need here and most of the fittings. We have to run a Napa to get a couple, but next I'm gonna make the hose for the fuel return, which is this one right here. Should have one of the fittings right here somewhere. If not, we do have a bunch of new ones right there we just put in. That's probably right where it's at. Yep, right there. So we're gonna open this up, grab a couple fittings out of here to make that hose. So got the return line put on the tanks here. I did change the length of it a little bit because I'm gonna get all these lines put on. I'm gonna go back with these little, I don't know where they're at right now, but like these little sleeves like this to hold everything in place. I'm gonna get new stainless ones instead of steel, and they're gonna hold all these hoses in place. I did put a 45-degree fitting on the power steering feed line instead of a straight down because it was just bent up real bad. So we fixed that up, made it a lot better. We got it hooked up here on the front of the power steering box. Next, I've got the main fuel line right here, guys, the suction line. We will eventually be putting a fast fuel line on this in the future, or a fast fuel pump on it in the future, but for now we're gonna run the factory fuel pump. We can always cut and add fittings in these fuel lines, you know, for the return on the fast pump, so not a big deal. But yeah, I'm gonna get this one ran. I did put a 90 on here, so instead of it coming out and then curving going out, it's just gonna go straight down and inside the frame rail into the back to the fuel tanks back there. Well, guys, I've got to run over to Napa, like I said, and grab this piece of return hose from the power steering box to the power steering reservoir, and then we'll have a couple hoses replaced. And I've got hoses. I've got to go get these fittings because we don't have any fittings this big here at the shop. So I'll run over there to Napa and get some of those, and we should be set. We'll take this baby over there and find a golf cart and buzz over there. Guys, I gotta give you all a huge shout out. I'm walking over here to Napa because it's right across the road, right down the road here. So I'm just gonna walk over there and grab my hoses. But I cannot thank you all for all the support you guys have been sending my way. Subscribers, views, the love. Also go on to brucewilsonshop.com and grabbing all your merch. You guys have been tearing it up, and I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, go to brucewilsonshop.com, visit the website. A lot of you have been asking about stacks and chrome. There's tons of stuff coming from 4-State Parts. Hopefully, it's not gonna make it here before Christmas, but right after Christmas, we should have a bunch of really cool parts going on the truck. What a walk. Damn, boy. You know what you're doing?
Oh, look.
Not yet. Looking good, looking good. I made it back over here, guys, and got my condom in the way. Got all the hoses hooked back up for the power steering, return line, our fuel lines. I've got to run the fuel line. It goes between the two tanks. And it'll pretty much be done replacing hoses for today. So I do have lots of air lines to replace that go from the massive air compressor right here down to the air tanks, but that will be another day, not today. We're gonna get the tank polished up, and I may start messing with the rear brake chambers and see if we can get something done on those. So longtime sponsor Diesel Auto Power guys, they have been basically a family to me. Hooked us up with some Christmas cookies. I already tore into them, had the cinnamon ones. There's all kinds of flavors. Right there, cinnamon ones are my favorite. It says to cook them, but we're just eating them right out of the pack. Want some?
Yeah, I'm right.
Well, come over here and get some.
Hey, I ain't got many teeth, but I can.
You can numb them to death, can't you?
Hey, you'd be surprised what a man I know teeth.
You want cinnamon? You want triple chocolate, looks like? Oatmeal?
Yeah.
Regular chocolate chip?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Crack them
See what
open.
them things hit like.
Alright, homie, so what you got going on? Got it all polished up?
Yeah, just fingering it all up. You know what I can't get to with the buffer. You know, I gotta.
So a little before, so this guy's, he acid bathed it and wet sanded it. There we go. You wet sanded it, and now he's polishing the tank up.
You know what's
These things are looking freaking jam up for some old tanks.
Oh yeah.
These things are pitted. Keep in mind, guys, it wasn't a privately owned truck. It was a truck by a trucking company, and most of these trucks, people don't care about how they look. As long as they drive down the road and function well, they're making money. Looks don't matter.
Yeah.
Looks don't make money. So he's getting this thing all polished up. I am gonna order the tank end caps, like they're like leather from 4-state trucks. We're gonna put those on all the ends of the tanks just so they don't have to worry about polishing them out, trying to keep them clean. I think it'll look better. So yeah, this thing's turning out nice. I got tons of hoses replaced. I know you guys are probably upset because you're not getting to see a lot of things worked on in this video because I'm turning wrenches up by myself today. But starting next week, Monday, my little brother Aaron will be working with me full-time doing YouTube videos. So he will be right here holding the camera, doing all that stuff, and doing tons of drone shots. He's in the middle right now of trying to get his license as a drone pilot to do it professionally. So lots of cool stuff coming up next week, guys. Hold tight. All right, guys, we're out here at Chaz's party. Ugly Christmas sweater party. And Rat Daddy's gonna play the national anthem before we get our burnout started.
First time ever, boys.
What's up?
Test.
Turn it up. Turn the baby up.
Turn it up. Turn that up. There we go.
All right, so we're gonna start the burnout contest right now. He's gonna play it. And before we start, we're gonna start the tradition out here at the plantation. Cannon, my little brother, is gonna guitar the national anthem for us. So y'all enjoy. If you're not over here, bring your ass over here to the dang carport and put your hand over your heart. Right down here. What's your Instagram?
Cannon Miller 80.
What? Oh. There you go. All right, send it. Send it.